Hello and welcome. You're watching Head to Head on UATV and I'm Olga Aivazovska. Elections are approaching in Ukraine. In 2019, Ukrainians will choose both a new president and a new parliament. The chances for these elections to be fair and transparent largely depend on reforming the electoral legislation. So what has been done so far and what else is pending to be done in this regard? To talk more about this, we welcome to our studio today Olga Aivazovska, Director of the Board of the Civil Network OPORA. Hello and thank you for joining us.
Hi.
So first of all, could you explain our audience, please, why does Ukraine need any changes in the electoral legislation?
So legal changes is like a base for development. That's why many years ago independent missions as ECODIR, for example, or Venice Commission or PACE in Ukraine recommended Ukrainian government and parliament to adopt some changes to the law. The main changes, it's like a list for 17 recommendations, and one of them was about new electoral system for parliamentary election, to adopt new electoral system as proportional with regional open list, because we had many types of electoral system before. For example, single mandate, when citizens can vote only for one person, and only this one person will be winner on this constituency. We had proportional system with closed list, when political parties just register their own opinion about who might be the first, the second, the third person in this list, and citizens or voters can support the whole list, not one of the person in this list. That's why we had a problem with shadow guys in the list.
Emerging among the MPs.
Yeah, very strange people who open for society only when they were elected. That's why proportional system with open list is like a solution for this problem, when citizens or voters can vote for the candidate, the person in the list from political parties.
So could you please explain us how does this proportional open system would work if it's going to be adopted by the Ukrainian parliament?
So the opportunity to adopt the electoral code with proportional system with open list on the second reading in Ukrainian parliament till the end of this year is like very small.
There is very small chances?
Yeah, there is very small chances for that, but we try to push this opportunity and to have more chances.
Actually, I'm sorry that I interrupt. As far as I know, democratic countries, they usually change their legislation, electoral legislation, a year before the elections. And we will have our presidential elections in spring next year and the parliamentary ones in the next autumn. So basically, we are really short in time. We would have to vote to adopt these legislative changes throughout this September, by October, basically. So, and we cannot even complete this by the end of this year, you say, right?
But this is not a rule. It's like a good standards or good practices. According to the Code of Good Practices of Venice Commission in electoral cases, the deadline for any big changes in electoral processes and procedures not later than a year before election day. That's why this October is like a deadline for parliamentary new electoral system or new type of territorial organization for electoral processes or new type of administration of electoral commission. So these three main changes must be adopted not later than a year before election day in parliamentary campaigning.
Why can't we meet this deadline? What are the stumbling blocks here?
So nothing will happen if Ukrainian parliament will adopt it later. But it's like this deadline, it's like a key for different players to be in one situation, to have the equal rights, and because they have the equal, they will have equal access to information. For example, if we are talking about territorial organization of electoral campaigning, we have to know where how looks like the borders of this constituency, because one person or political groups who are closer to the power groups may know better about these constituencies, more information, and to have not equal access if you try to compare this situation with opposition parties, for example. That's why this year the deadline is like a key for equal rights for different political groups, from governmental or power groups and oppositional groups.
How would this work? How would this new scheme, this proportional open scheme work?
So, if we are going to adopt electoral code with new electoral system for a parliamentary election, we will have 27 constituencies. The border will look like closer to oblast level borders, and we will have one national proportional list and 27 regional proportional lists.
So 2 proportional lists.
It will be like regional list will be like a part of this national list, and voters will vote only for the regional list, but not the whole list, but only for the person in this regional list.
For the candidate.
For the candidate. And then after the voting day, election day, we will have like rechanging of position of whole of the candidates, because some of them can have more support from voters and other less. That's why we will have result in regional districts, and the result will have like connection with voter turnout. So the number of mandates will have connection with the number of people who will be ready to vote in electoral day.
But how the party should form its list of the candidates, so people from different regions of Ukraine, oblasts of Ukraine, would support and vote for this party?
It depends on access to information, of course, but each of political parties should support in equal position and to find equally each of the candidate in their regional list. So none of the candidates will have access to different numbers of money from political parties, for example. And each of political parties will have like an interest to have more than 5% support from the citizens, because it's like turnout for access to the parliament totally.
So the threshold is 5%.
Yeah, the threshold.
And then he or she can become a member of the parliament.
No, the party who will have more than 5% support of the voters
so the
will
party
have opportunity to be a player when the mandates will be distributed between different parties. If the party will have less than 5% of support all over Ukraine, they will not be a player in this process. And after that, we will find the number of political parties who got more than 5% of support, and in each of the 27 of the districts, Central Election Commission will distribute the mandates between those candidates who got more numbers of votes from the citizens.
As far as I understand, the more votes party gets, the more representatives will be invited in the Ukrainian parliament.
Yes, this is a part of proportional system. The more vote, the more seats. At the same time, nobody knows from political party sides who will be those people who will have the highest level of support from citizens, because after election day, Central Election Commission will rearrange the candidates in political party list. Because of the level of support, each of the candidates
is winning his
voters.
Is his or her place. Okay, you mentioned that there are going to be 2 lists, national and the regional one. How this is going to work? Could you explain some more on this?
Maybe it's easily than the first step. So first of all, we will see on the regional level who will have support from voters, and those political parties who got more than 5% of support will have position on the distribution. And then from the national list, we have the same names as the assumed names in the regional list.
So the names match, okay.
Yeah, and those people who will take their mandates on the regional level will cut from the national list, but the political party can have more percentage of support than each of the candidates. And for example, on the regional level, you can have a half of mandate, a number of votes which looks like a half of mandate. And this half of the mandate will assume to the national list. And those candidates who will not take their mandates from the regional level, but will not be cut from the national list, will have this sum of the mandates or sum of the votes.
So this is going to be a more transparent scheme of voting, and this is what European partners have been recommending to implement in Ukraine, right?
First of all, this electoral system will give more opportunities and more rights and more influence to voters. Because with proportional system, with closed list, it's more like opportunity to know who will win. Firstly, from political parties' side, and political party has more sometimes not democratic tools for ranging the people in the list.
So, well, the second session of Ukrainian Parliament has already started. What stage of negotiations is this electoral reform at?
For now, we have more than 4,400 amendments to electoral code before the second reading, and during the spring and summer, the special working group organized by the committee started to rereading these amendments before the second reading in plenary session. And now we finish only with 25% of these amendments. So unfortunately, Ukrainian parliamentarians were not included or involved too much in this process. So we have to finish with all of these amendments till the October.
Till October, okay.
Till October, and then the second step will be should be from the committee sides. But unfortunately, oppositional political parties or coalition political parties have no
interest to support this reform, and this is very clear and understandable. Well, but let's hope that until the end of this year we will have some positive news, some better news. Unfortunately, that's all we have time for now. But thank you so much for this clear comments and for this conversation. That was Olga Aivazovska, director of the board of the civil network OPORA. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more with UATV.